No one has to get hurt. Just send Steve home, I said calmly. One of the wolves started to speak, but Noah silenced him. Our eyes remained locked on each other.
No, no one has to get hurt. We can definitely agree on that.
Noah replied. Steve emerged from the house but stood behind the wolves, insisting that he didn't want to go back. He looked at me, pleading with his eyes, asking me not to make a choice I'd regret. Your father wants you home, so you're coming with us, one way or another, I told him. Then I turned back to Noah. One of Morlis's men behind me muttered that this was a waste of time and that we couldn't afford to play nice. Before I could tell him to shut up, he fired a shot, hitting Noah in the shoulder. In the same instant, I said, "Mistake," and shot Morlis's man in the leg. Everyone froze, surprised, but no one moved. I'm in charge here and I didn't tell you to shoot anyone. He nodded, struggling to stay on his feet. I turned back to the wolves, looking at Steve. He nodded in fear and came with us back to the house. As we left, I glanced back and saw Noah take a step toward me. Back at Morlis's house, I suggested we release the wolf in the basement since Steve was home, and we didn't want to start a war. Morlis agreed, but it felt too easy. Days later, something suspicious was happening in the basement, but no one would let me go down there. I woke up and quietly went downstairs. Hidden in the shadows, I listened. Steve was in the basement, crying and begging. Two of Morlis's men stood nearby, guns aimed at a wolf's head. Steve pleaded. Morlis's men laughed, mocking him, saying the wolves probably didn't even know what love was. The wolf, who must have sensed my presence since he glanced almost directly at the corner where I was hiding, spoke calmly. We know it better than anyone. We fall in love once in our lives and we can't control it. We'd do anything for that person, and we can't be happy without them. I stepped out of the shadows, approaching the four of them. Okay, that's enough. No one is going to kill anyone. I reached for the keys to release the wolf, but one of Morlis's men snatched them away and told me they were going to kill him. After a brief argument, the other man sneered at me, telling me to stay out of their way. I had enough. I laughed and said, "I never liked either of you." Holding up my hand with the bracelet. With a quick snap, I unlocked the cage. Then, with a wave of my hand, Morlis's men vanished. I turned to Steve and the wolf, who both looked shocked, taking a step back. I told them to get out and never tell anyone what happened. They left town that night.